Hello, dudes. Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. My name is Kevin Duty, and we are doing a knife review today of this bad boy right here, the Civivi Sokoke. I really like it. I'm going to show you all about it and, dive into the details of the good things, bad things, everything about this knife. I have already done a video with a cut test video, so I have not super extensively, but I have done a pretty fair amount of cutting with this thing. I did the cut test video. I did carry it for probably a total of like 6 days, and yeah, I feel ready to give my opinions on it. So let's measure this bad boy, right? I'm decided I'm not going to say right off the bat anymore. So let's measure this thing. It's 3¼ inches, cutting edge 3 1/8. The handle is 4¼ Overall, we're looking at 7 5/8 of an inch. Yep, 7 5/8. So not a big knife, not a small knife. This is definitely a medium-sized knife. Size comparisons. Let's help you guys get an idea of how big it is. Let's put up the Paramilitary 2 by Spyderco. You can see I'll line up the butts here. So PM2 is a bit longer. How about the Hogue Deca? Roughly the same size. Let's see. Yeah, just about the same size. The Sokoke might be slightly longer. Oops. How about the Civivi Baby Banter? There you go. And let's do the Demco AG20.5 Shark's Foot. There you go. There was size comparisons. Now we got to measure the thickness behind the edge. This is a pretty slicey blade. Definitely feels like it's slicey. Let's find out exactly what we're talking about here. Just for frame of reference to help you guys kind of understand the measurements here. The Baby Banter is around 16 thousandths behind the edge, which is on the thin side. The PM2 is 25 thousandths behind the edge. That's more on the thicker side, not the thickest I've ever seen, but on the thicker side at 25 thousandths. The Ontario Rat Model 2 is 24 thousandths behind the edge. The Spyderco Shaman is 28 thousandths behind the edge. It's pretty thick. And yeah, let's see where this guy falls. We'll take 3 measurements, one right in front of the sharpening choil. And we are got 16 thousandths. So that's great. At the middle, 17 thousandths. And at the tip, we have 17 thousandths again. So that's great. That's about as thin behind the edge as the Baby Banter. So that's great, man. That is a very nice and slicey blade for EDC. Really fantastic. You can see in my testing video that it performed pretty well. I'll put a link to it up in the corner there to the cut test video. So, what is this thing made out of? This is a inset liner lock with thumb studs and a front flipper. We have some really nice micarta scales that I really, really like. You know, Civivi historically has not had the best micarta. Actually, far from it. Pretty bad micarta, if I'm being honest. You know, whenever I've bought a Civivi, and I've bought quite a few Civivis, I always choose the G10 option, or if there's anything other than micarta, I go with that, because I don't like their micarta. Historically, I've not liked it. But they really changed things up on the Sokoke here, because this is good stuff. This is like Kaiser level micarta. It's really, really nice. You actually feel the texture, the like slight fuzziness to it. It looks amazing. It feels really good, and I'm very happy. I'm hoping that it's not just on this knife that they decide to put it on. I'm hoping it's every model from here forth with Micarta. I hope that it's this quality stuff. That would be really cool. So really happy with that. This knife comes in a few different options. There's like a more burlap micarta with a acid washed blade, and then there's what's the other one? There's one more, I forget what it was, and then there's this one here. This one comes with a bead blasted blade, which is not my favorite thing at all, but it's not. I guess it's not the worst of things. I can get past it because this micarta is so good. It doesn't bother me since this micarta is just awesome. We are looking at, what's the blade steel? I think it's 14C28N. It's got to be. Yeah, it doesn't say anywhere. Yeah, it's got to be. If it's not, I'll put it on the screen right now, but I'm pretty sure it's 14C28N. This is made or designed by Ray Laconico. See his name right there. He is a designer that I like very much. I just really like his knives. Another of his knives that I own is the Artisan Cutlery Centauri. This is a Ray Laconico also. And you can see some similarities, especially when these knives are closed. You can see he kind of makes his front flippers the same shape. And then open, you can tell the handles are similar. Not super similar, but you can see a few little similarities for sure. So I love his knives. Everyone that I've seen and handled, I've just really liked. He focuses a lot on ergonomics, and this knife is no exception. He really nailed the ergos on this knife. Let's keep talking about the construction a little bit here. We have a micarta backspacer, same micarta as the scales. I think it looks really nice. It's completely flush back here. Very good. Lanyard hole. The pocket clip is inset with flat-headed screws. Excellent. And I actually really like this clip. This is not Civivi's typical clip that I see on a lot of Civivis. Those I don't like very much. This one, though, I actually like. It works well. It's low profile. We don't have this huge swoopy-doop dealio going on. It's just nice and subtle. That's great. I really like it. And you have the cutout there for lefties. You got a spot there for you guys. All the hardware is also bead blasted. I think it looks pretty good on the pivot there. I'm glad they didn't make that like black or something different, weird. I think it looks good. All T8 hardware, excellent, excelente. Yeah, we got a little bit of jimping right up here and right down here, and we have jimping on the lock bar, which sometimes I don't like if it's like a little too sharp. Sometimes it can be a little sharp on your thumb. But this I actually really like. It doesn't, it doesn't feel sharp at all. It's actually gives you a little bit of nice grip to it. So that's great. The lock bar access is not like insane, but they did carve out the scale here a bit so you can get in there. You can see looking from the top. And the fact that the jimping is there, I have zero problems with the lock bar access here. Zero. Excellent. The liners are nested into the scales. You can see them in there. I really like that, It kind of depends knife to knife if I think it should be inset or, not inset the liners. This particular knife, I think this is great. This works really well for having an inset liner. That makes the liner lock portion of the knife inset as well. So you can see there's a cutout to make room for that lock bar to slide over. Really cool. So let's talk about it, baby. Let's check out this blade here. This is a drop point blade. Almost a spear point. Yeah. I don't know. Is it? It's pretty close. It is a drop point, though. Nice blade shape. Really nice blade shape. This is one of the most versatile types of blades out there. Just, a pretty low tip for utility cuts, but, you got some belly there if you need it. Nice and thin behind the edge. It's almost a full flat. You can see it kind of the plunge line kind of curves, and it ends right here, and then it kind of fades into this swedge. Pretty subtle swedge, but it kind of starts all the way back here and goes all the way to the tip. I think it looks good. I think that might kind of help with the sliciness of the blade, just kind of knocking out the that corner of the spine all the way down. So great blade shape. Like we saw, it was thin behind the edge, relatively thin blade stock too. The plunge grind, I think it could be a little bigger, you know. It's not horrible. You can see where the plunge grind starts to slope up is like right pretty close to where the edge ends. It's like right there where my fingernail is. So, I don't know. You got like maybe 2 good sharpens out of this, and then you're starting to get into the plunge grind area. They could have made that a little bigger, but the stop pin actually lands right in there, right in the middle of the sharpening choil. So they could have put that stop pin elsewhere, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. But regardless, that's how they did it. And so you can't enlarge this if you wanted to. That's, I guess, the one flaw I could see with the knife is, you know, I guess if you really sharpen this a bunch of times, you might even start affecting where the stop pin rests in there, you know. You could technically sharpen it all the way back to where you're starting to mess with the geometry, the stop pin geometry. That would take a long time probably, but it is a thing, you know. Yeah. Ergonomics, excellent. Very, very excellent. Pretty neutral handle, but we do have kind of a swell here, a palm swell in the middle. And then it kind of very subtly kind of hooks out here to help you feel locked into it. Really like it. I really love that you can get nice and close to the edge too. There's no pronounced like big finger choil up here or anything. It's just kind of a neutral handle. You can choke back a little bit back here very comfortably, or you can get really nice and close up to the edge very comfortably. You can kind of just go wherever you want. It reminds me a little bit of the Devo Mash in that it's a pretty neutral handle. You know, you could hold it back here comfortably. You could choke all the way up here comfortably. You know, same kind of thing as far as having a neutral handle. So I really, really like that. It's just awesome. You know, these scales are contoured too. See right there. So man, this thing, it's just so comfortable, dude. It really, really is. I don't feel a clip. It's just great. The ergonomics are really, really good. The action, man, another reason this knife is awesome. The action is great. The detent is really, really nice, dude. It's crispy. It feels great using the thumb studs, firing this blade out. It really does. Reverse flick, easy, off of the thumb stud. Thumb flick, really good. And the front flipper, man, gosh, look how fast I can slam this blade out. I mean, you could hammer that thing out. You got so much leverage in this thing. And it's positioned in such a way where it's really easy to do. You could place your thumb kind of farther down and still get it. You can place your thumb a little bit towards the tip and still get it. It's just really, really well done. You can do the reach around, I think. Oh, my finger keeps getting in the way. Yeah, there you go. You can do the reach around. You can do the side finger dealio super easily. It's just great, man. Really, really like the action on this knife. It's fun to use, you know. It's one of those knives that it's just fun. It's fun. It has a lot to do with the detent, mostly to do with the detent, really. Just the fact that it's so crisp and it makes a good sound too, you know, as it opens. It's not like a muted snap as the lock bar falls into place. It just gives it a good, nice, loud little pop. It's great. It's really, really nice. As far as the fall shuttiness, you give it a couple of shakes. You know, it's not fall shut. You can give it one larger shake. or, you know, kind of gently do a couple. Pretty smooth. I think maybe the bead blast is affecting affecting that a little bit, possibly. I don't know. You know, the detent ball is riding on that bead blasted surface. I don't know if that really affects it or not. Could be. Or perfectly centered. I think it might be ever so slightly to the right, possibly. Let's see. It might be. It's kind of hard to tell, but it's very close. Lock up completely rock solid. This is a really good knife, and it's 50 bucks, or maybe 55. It's very close to 50 bucks, which I think is a really good price. This is kind of a budget version of the Wii Esprit, which is also a Laconico. It's premium materials. This is basically the same knife, but in budget version. I don't believe exactly the same. You know, the premium one's a frame lock, a little bit different handle, a little bit different blade shape, but it's very close. So that's cool. I've always wanted an Esprit. Never really got one because it's just pricey, you know. Other knives took precedence over it. But this is cool that I can experience basically that knife on a budget for 50 bucks. I think that's great. So, that's the Civivi Sokoke. I really do recommend this. You know, when I saw this knife on a video from Knife Center at the SHOT Show this year, I knew that I wanted it. You know, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, yep, that's going to be good, and I want it. And turns out it really lived up to my expectations. It really did. So, that's the Civivi Sokoke. I'm going to link it down below. You can go check it out and buy it if you want. And that's about it. Thanks for watching, folks. Please like the video before you head out. And leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of the Sokoke. Let me know if you got one, if you want to get one, which version you got. I'm curious if maybe the black washed one or the acid washed one has smoother drop on it maybe. I don't know. Let me know. Love you guys. Peace and love. Adios.